Is the story of a man with money, 0 cents, and an eggplant head so shiny airplane try to land on it. Ladies and gentlemen, eat his head. Eggplant penis head wakes up acting hardcore, puffs his chest so much you can't fit through the door. Join the military just to walk around mean, but everyone knows he's softer than whipped cream. He salutes himself like he's king of the world, but even his shadow rolls its eyes at that nerd. Eggplant penis head has money to burn, but his mindset is bad. Walks like he's dangerous. He's just loud and mad, the human version of a malfunctioning iPad. Eggplant penis. He's rich, yes we know, he reminds us all daily. Trips to Vegas so often the dealers greet him with, hey dummy. Drop stacks on tables like he's allergic to cash. Loses so much money even Vegas says, damn, relax. He orders champagne like he's starring in a movie, but he dances like a dad fighting bees in a jacuzzi. Eggplant penis head throws money around like he's permanently misled. Not broke, just stupid, with the wallet that's widespread. A VIP clown painted bright red. Eggplant penis. Crazy Stacy time. Crazy Stacy arrives in sparkles and smoke, married Monday through Friday to some drug dealer joke. But weekend she's back with her pimp daddy Ace, collecting her money with glitter on her face. Eggplant thinks she likes him, ha, what a joke. She calls him wallet man number 4 every time he's broke. He buys stupid stuff, a gold toilet brush, a diamond-encrusted toaster because it's lush. If common sense sold for $1 a pound, he'd still owe money. That's how dumb he sounds. Eggplant penis head, rich as hell but still brain dead. He bankrolls Vegas and Crazy Stacy's thread. He's a luxury idiot, widely misread. Eggplant. Egg pay with. So whenever life stresses you or makes you feel dread, just remember there's a man with a wallet and no head, a legend in his own mind, a clown in real life.
There's a riddle on the screen and a bop in the beat. Crystal's got a theory and she's bringing the heat. With a playlist rolling and a case to crack, she's digging through the weird and she ain't looking back. Crystal's crime and music. Hey, hey, hey. Weird little whispers and a beat that slays. She's grooving through the rumors, dancing through the doubt. Hop on the stream and help her figure it out. She's got headphones on and snacks in hand. She's sleuthing in slippers, ain't it grand? Crimes and chords, it's a curious mix, but she'll remix that mystery just for kicks. Crystal's crime and music, let's roll. Talking strange old stories with a heart and soul. From cryptic clues to a disco track, she's chasing down weirdness and never looks back. She don't solve crime, just talks and vibes with a keyboard click and detective drive. She's got music moods and wild ideas and a soft spot for victims through the years. Is that a ghost? Or just bad Wi-Fi? Did that dude lie? Or is it all a sigh? Whatever the twist. Crystal's on the screen with a snack, a song, and a mystery meme. So grab your tea and your favorite chair. She's cracking up theories out of thin air. One part groove, one part hum. It's Crystal's show, let's have some fun. Crystal's crime and music, tune it loud, where the silly gets spooky and the beats are proud. She's laughing, guessing, and spilling the tea. Come vibe with the queen of crime and melody.
Every parent needs to hear. Listen to this. The FBI is tracking an increase in activity from a network called 764.
Really frightening. This is a network of online predators looking to exploit kids on the devices and the apps they're using the most, manipulating them into doing horrible things, acts of violence. And it is happening not just across the country, but particularly right here in the tri-state.
Yeah, and we've partnered with ABC News to report on this important warning. Investigative reporter Dan Kraft joins us now with more. And Dan, this is really alarming for parents.
Yeah, well, many people don't even know this is happening. The FBI says this is the #1 threat against children right now. Since we first reported on this issue back in May, the FBI has opened at least 100 additional investigations into violent extremists online, and a young man in New Jersey was arrested just last week. They're finding kids online, on gaming sites and social media, befriending them and then extorting them, making the child do things to harm themselves or others.
If your child is on social media, they're likely to be a target of this. Just that simple.
Matthew Kreiner is with the Institute for Countering Digital Extremism.
This activity is growing exponentially at times.
A 21-year-old man in New Jersey was arrested and charged last week on cyberstalking charges. Prosecutors say he used the internet to threaten a minor female and told her to cut herself. On 2 occasions, the minor female cut her arms after being threatened. A federal complaint shows he also wrote things like this: "There's not enough school shootings. Society must collapse to stop white genocide." And 764 is my favorite, honestly, because they go after minority kids. The defendant waived his right to a preliminary hearing on Friday. Why would someone want a child to do something like this?
It sounds terrible, but these individuals want control. They want power. They want to be able to say to their peers and to be able to rise in the ranks of these groups that they've made others do these terrible things to themselves.
Which is why we've decided not to publicly name those accused of the crime.
Everything they can do to raise their profile, whether it's harming other people or just getting mentions in media or a combination between the two, that's what they're after.
Probably one of our favorites.
ABC News anchor Juju Chang interviewed the parents of 13-year-old Jay Taylor, who died by suicide after authorities say a 764 member in Germany pushed him to take his own life. The man being prosecuted has denied the charges against him.
It's one thing to learn that your child died by suicide. It's another thing to learn that people were watching.
Right.
And egging him on.
Sickening.
The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children says this year alone, it's on track to receive nearly 2,000 reports of abuse tied to 764 or similar online networks, much of it starting on popular online platforms. The FBI director calls it modern-day terrorism in America.
By going after them online, causing self-mutilation, suicide, sexual abuse, and steering them in the wrong direction.
While online activity has picked up, so have the steps federal investigators say they're taking to find online extremists. What would be your #1 message for parents?
Have the difficult conversations now about what your child may or may not be exposed to online. It's very similar to the birds and the bees conversation. It's going to be painful. It's uncomfortable, but they need to hear it.
They need to hear it. The FBI says extremists typically threaten victims, saying they'll post where they live and information about their families if they do not cooperate with what they're saying online. That's why they say it's very important for parents to have open and honest conversations with their children about this.
And you also say that they catch them in compromising positions.
Yeah, one of the biggest offenses right now is child pornography. Threatening the child, if they don't shoot this, they're going to post it, and then they end up posting it anyways.
It's so crazy.
764, why that number?
764 is the first portion of the zip code in Texas where one of these cases originally started, and it kind of expanded globally from there.
I'm a parent, got 3 kids, 11, 7, 9 years old. I've talked to friends today. I've never heard of this 764. Why are we just now hearing about this?
Right. Well, it picked up a lot during the pandemic when a lot of kids were doing online learning and online everything, basically. And the extremists have gotten really good at manipulating them. And it's showing in the cases that we're seeing from the FBI.
Well, necessary reporting, Dan. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now to an ABC News investigation into a terrifying new group. Now, we've talked about it before because Pierre Thomas brought us this story earlier, but we're going to get an update. It's a global network that they're calling 764.
The FBI calls them modern-day terrorists. Back in May, federal officials, they were conducting 250 investigations into them, and now they've opened at least 100 more.
So what is this group and who are they targeting? ABC's Pierre Thomas is here now with this investigation. Pierre, we have had you on the show before talking about this, and this is one for parents out there to listen up to because this group is targeting your kids, and it's very scary.
It is indeed. I think I said before, and I want to emphasize it again because I think it's so important. This group is both a national security threat and a threat to families. What do I mean by national security threat? They're the kind of network that will encourage someone, for example, to go do a mass shooting. So they're very much like Al Qaeda or ISIS in that regard. But also they reach directly into families and target children and try to convince them to do the most heinous of things to themselves and to possibly others.
This is insidious. It needs to stop right now. Thank you so much for bringing it to our attention so we can throw everything at it. It's really a warning for parents. So how are they getting to our kids? I guess that's my question. Your kid is unsupervised at a computer, and is that how?
It's both through their mobile apps and phones and also through their computers. It's primarily through social media platforms.
Got it.
You've heard Discord, you've heard about some of the others. And these groups know where the children are communicating in chat rooms. They will befriend the child, get their confidence, and then get some kind of negative information and then try to leverage that against the child and then convince the child to do just really horrible things. My colleague, Juju Chang, has done a really extraordinary investigation into a little boy who took his own life. And the parents are talking about what they went through, even as they tried to do everything to protect their child.
Yeah, you have to think about what safety measures some of these websites are taking. I mean, you mentioned Discord. I'm curious what they're doing because that is kind of unregulated territory. Discord is pretty open and free, but Roblox was one of the sites that they were using and one of the gaming platforms that they were using. They announced they're making some changes, right?
Yeah, they made a pretty significant announcement in the eyes of many today. They say they're going to try to put together a mechanism to make it more difficult for adults to communicate with children. They want to create a situation where children are communicating with each other, not adults online.
I just feel like it's just too late. They should have had this in place way before something like this could happen. But it does feel like the new normal for the FBI to have to track down terrorists on these online sites, these social media platforms. How do they go about shutting it down?
Well, they're obviously opening more investigations. The FBI director talked about this being a priority. Attorney General Bondi has as well. They know that they need to put more resources on it. But I also think that this is a wake-up call for parents in general. If there ever was an entity or something to remind you, you have to communicate with your children. You have to know, how they're using social media, when they're using social media. It's this group.
I feel like days when I was a kid, we went on AOL and went in chat rooms and stuff. It was kind of parents didn't really know about social. That excuse is over now. Everyone has a phone, and it really does have to be over. So,
and Pierre, thank you so much because this isn't just one person, one weirdo out there getting to kids. This is an organized group, and we need to be organized to stop.
Sam, one thing I'll leave you with very quickly: the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children has some data where in 2024 they had roughly 1,300 calls involving parents and family members calling into their tip line concerned about 764 and groups like it. Through the first 6 months this year, there were 1,000 calls. So they were on pace. They're on pace to have more than 2,000 calls.
Wow.
We're getting the calls from the parents. The parents deserve the support for the next steps. Thank you. We always appreciate having you on the show, Pierre Thomas.
My pleasure.
Always an honor. Thank you.
Welcome to this special edition of Nightline. I'm joined by ABC's Chief Justice Correspondent Pierre Thomas. Welcome back to Nightline, Pierre.
Good to be here.
I know you've been working on this story for nearly a year.
Indeed. Juju, this is truly one of the most terrifying stories I've ever covered in my 30 years as a journalist. We're talking about a network that's both a national security threat and also a direct threat to the nation's families. It's a story of pure evil, a network that seeks to sow chaos in our society, one child at a time.
You're about to meet heartbroken parents and a teenage whistleblower from halfway around the world. And we must warn you, there is graphic content and imagery that might disturb some viewers. The darkest corners of the internet, terrorizing the most vulnerable in the most unexpected places.
If it's happening here, it's happening everywhere and anywhere.
Gig Harbor, Washington, a lush suburb of Seattle.
Is it recording?
Yeah.
Hi, Mom.
It's where 13-year-old Jay Taylor grew up.
I love you. I'm sorry I couldn't talk to you on FaceTime.
And it's where he was targeted in the middle of the night in his own home by a sinister online network called 764.
We knew there were bad people on the internet, period, when we had those conversations.
And you tried to limit it.
Oh, yeah. It was locked down.
But it wasn't enough. 764, a loose network of anonymous people online across the world, had targeted Jay. Their goal? To unleash chaos. Their targets? Mostly children.
It's chopping time.
Like this girl, coerced to cut her own hair and eat it.
One of the worst offenders of grooming and extortion.
The FBI calling 764 one of the biggest emerging threats.
We're going after the new form of what I refer to as modern day terrorism in America, 764 crimes.
Each and every one of the 55 FBI field offices across the country are investigating 764 related cases. Charges ranging from animal cruelty to child pornography to murder and even alleged terrorism.
They're calling it the #1 digital threat right now against kids, pushed into sexual and violent behavior.
This is about the most disturbing story I've seen.
It's one thing to learn that your child died by suicide. It's another thing to learn that people were watching.
Right.
And egging him on.
Sickening.
And the unlikely whistleblower on the other side of the world who blew the case wide open.
They said that they made sure to stay on the court to make sure that he was dead.
What happened to Jay Taylor still haunts his parents 3 years later.
This is probably one of our favorites.
Oh my
goodness. We call this the 100 Bobs.
Jay had fallen in love with arts and crafts at a young age and started selling his creations on Etsy.
How would you describe Jay's personality?
Very accepting and loving, like very much just shared love with anyone.
Okay, pick a card. Wow, great choice.
He'd come out as transgender, struggled during the pandemic, even hospitalized for a time for self-harm. But by January 2022, he seemed to be getting better. Finding what he thought was a safe community of friends on the social media platform Discord.
He had gone on to the internet for these arts and crafts communities.
99% of whenever we do our checks, were craft related and light and airy.
It seems so innocent on
patterns.
Discord.
Yeah,
Right.
very.
We're going to do this. Look how awesome Jay is. He is so... Everything seemed like we were in a nice, healthy place.
Then early one morning, the police came to their home. Jay had taken his own life.
What went through your mind when you heard that?
Just completely stunned. Jay's not in my life anymore. I couldn't grasp that.
But a few days into their grief, what Jay's parents discovered would launch a murder investigation.
There's someone from Australia that's contacted me saying there was something going on when Jay died. And sure enough, this Australian teen had the actual video captured.
That teen in Australia alerting Jay's parents to what really happened. Jay was allegedly coerced on Discord into taking his own life by a member of 764.
Jay had posted, "I'm looking for friends, preferably LGBTQ, for crochet buddies."
His parents say a 764 member masquerading as a crochet pen pal befriended him. But that seemingly innocent beginning quickly escalated. Authorities say ultimately 764 members bullied him into live streaming his own suicide.
You could see they were interacting
And watching.
and typing and watching. Saying things like, "Oh, take your clothes off, it'll be hotter." Just sickening.
I was sending the video around.
Lily is the Australian teen who saw the gruesome episode. Lily is a nickname. We're not showing her face to respect her privacy. She too says she was targeted by 764 members.
I hated that I was added to that group chat, and I wish it never happened. They were saying horrible things, misgendering him, calling him fat. They said that they got him to kill himself, and they were saying in the group chat they wanted to do it to someone else.
So it was as if they were bragging about it.
They definitely were.
Authorities say members of 764 eventually manipulated Jay to hang himself from a grocery store fence at 4 in the morning on January 17th, 2022.
They took advantage of Jay's loneliness and his kindness, and then they completely preyed on his insecurities.
I just think about how I don't want it to happen to anyone else.
You reached out to Jay's parents that these people need to be stopped.
I couldn't just do nothing about it.
So how did 764 become so widespread and dangerous so quickly? It was created roughly 4 years ago by then 15-year-old Bradley Cadenhead, now serving 80 years behind bars for child pornography. He named it after the first 3 digits of his zip code in Stephenville, Texas. 764 began on Discord, but moved to other platforms like Roblox and Telegram, quickly becoming popular in other countries. This 19-year-old, an alleged 764 member, arrested in the UK, charged with child porn and encouraging a suicide.
If one has got anything on you shouldn't have.
Experts say the majority of aggressors in 764 are actually young people.
The entire incentive structure of these spaces is to get as many victims as you can.
Matt Kreiner researches violent extremists like 764, which has an alarming hallmark.
Depraved acts against youth, getting them to cut themselves, put their name, cut it into their skin until it bleeds profusely, write it on the wall with that blood. Essentially, they're building them into a cult.
Kreiner says 764 has a clear blueprint of recruitment, finding vulnerable targets online, gaining trust, exposing them to violent material, then extorting them.
And they'll say, okay, I know who you are. I've maybe shown you child pornography. So if you do not do this, I will tell your family that you were consuming child pornography, and now your life is ruined.
Kreiner estimates that as many as 10,000 people are engaging with 764 related content at any given time. Lily says she was targeted by a chilling number of users.
Was it 5, 10, a dozen?
I lost count.
Police evidence shows how unsettling the network's tactics can be.
It's chopping time.
764 members blackmailing this girl to cut her own hair and eat it.
We told you what you need to do. You have 30 seconds.
The tactics intensify to sexually explicit demands on camera. Back in Gig Harbor, Lily becomes the linchpin in the investigation after she tracked down Jay's parents and handed over the suicide video. Investigators call her a hero.
I don't think we'd be here if she hadn't come forward.
Former FBI Special Agent Pat McMonigal and his colleagues had to watch the video over and over.
We had done a lot of research to try and figure out who had seen that video and who was in the group, who was bystanders, who was witnesses, who were the perpetrators.
After months of digging, the trail of clues led to a Discord account with the alias White Tiger, linked to an address in Hamburg, Germany.
So tell me who White Tiger is.
He was, at the time, a minor.
A teenage medical student.
Teenage medical student. And so we thought, well, this can't be right.
He refers to himself as a pedophile. What do you think motivates these guys? And I would imagine some girls.
And they've done this self-radicalized process, desensitize themselves to all violence. And we'd found him with pictures of him with swords and in Nazi uniforms and, you know, with swastika flags and things like that.
Authorities say White Tiger is an Iranian German named Shahryar. They say he was 17 when he allegedly pressured Jay to take his own life, and that he used other 764 victims to carry out some of his alleged crimes.
It's almost considered a prize to get another child to die by suicide.
Yeah,
Take
just
their own
sick.
life.
Yeah, he saw him as a pawn in a video game, basically.
It's almost biblical in its definition of evil, what happened.
In the U.S., there are no federal laws criminalizing such coerced violence, but McMonigal and his partner went to Germany, where White Tiger could be charged with murder.
We knew really everything about him.
And yet
we crawled in his life, and yet nothing was happening. It was just hard mentally, too. And I was just struggling with it.
After nearly 20 years in counterterrorism, Pat McMonigal retired in 2024. Jay's case was his very last. In June, police in Germany arrested the man they believe is White Tiger, charging him with Jay's murder and more than 200 counts of sexual abuse and violence against 30 victims in multiple countries. He's denied all charges.
What's the punishment that he deserves?
I'm not one for the death penalty. At the same time, it's like if he does get in prison, he should never get out.
The Taylors are now turning their attention to what they believe is an even more dangerous enabler, Discord. The family is planning to sue.
I know what killed Jay. It was Discord. Because that was the doorway that these bad guys that we would never let into our home.
They allow users to run scripts on their system that will eradicate their footprints, will delete everything they were saying to Jay. Discord allows users to hide evidence of foul play on their system, and that attracts these type of organizations to just fester and grow and emboldens.
When asked for comment, a Discord spokesperson told ABC News the company does not endorse third-party tools used to delete messages and that 764 has no place on Discord or anywhere in society, adding that Discord uses a range of tools, including machine learning and human content moderation, to proactively detect and remove content that violates our policies.
I really don't know what we could have done differently with him.
The Taylors are hoping their son's legacy will shine a light into the darkest corners of the internet.
I couldn't live with myself not making this push now, making it public, because if I read a story like Jay's, after Jay's passed, we failed Jay.
Such determined parents. And when we come back, how can 7
I can do game coding on private game servers because it's like copy and paste. People will be like, well, if you can do that, you can do anything. Well, all it is copy and paste. You know, I've got, you know, my Discord that I follow, the ones that are really tech savvy in game coding, and you know, they drop the cheats, and all I do is I copy those and I paste it over, you know, one of the current codes in the game, and that's all there is to it. I mean, it's really easy. And I do that, you know, I started doing it for the grandbabies because, you know, I would game with them. And one evening we were online gaming, and, you know, it was their bedtime, you know, time for them to get ready for bed so they could go to school the next morning. And I stayed on playing. And I ran into a couple of other online gamers, and, you know, I turned my mic on and spoke to them for a minute, and then I went back on mute, and they were like following me, and they were telling me, you know, that my voice was sexy and everything. And I was like, what the crap, you know, and and it was just like, you know, I was just like moving along and everything, killing zombies and stuff, and they were following me. And one of them said, how old are you? And the other one was like, oh, she's not an adult. You can tell with that voice, she's not even an adult. And I was like, what the heck? You know, I'm pushing 50.
No, I didn't add it. I'm having a hard time. Excuse my voice. I'm having a hard time getting to your page. What I need you to do is, I did it with Wee Scottish Mom earlier today. I need you to go into my comment section and leave me any comment anywhere, just so that it comes up as a notification so I could get the link to your channel, if that's okay. You did nothing wrong. I just didn't add them yet. I didn't change my mind. I promise. You're definitely on there, and I'm waiting for Helen to come in. So if you see her come in, if you could tell her, I'd really appreciate it. All right. Back to dumbass here.
50. And like just listening to them in my headset, you know, and then they said, well, she's probably a virgin. And the guy's
Oh
like,
my
oh, be
God.
quiet. She probably don't even know what the word virgin means,
Jeez.
And I am just sitting
Oh
there
my
like,
goodness. It's dangerous out there, man.
I mean, the
Yes, it
chills,
is.
I mean, the hairs on my arms and my neck stood up, and I was like, I logged off, and I was like, it's time for some changes, with the grandbabies. I don't want them hearing that kind of language. And I got to looking, and online gaming is a high,
I'm
very
sorry. I
high
just glanced
human
at the-
trafficking organization
Yep.
for online gaming. And
It's a nest
I
for
looked
predators.
up I looked up how to rent a private game server for just, select people that you want to game with and nobody else, no strangers. And it's only like $13 a month. And you can rent a game server.
At first, what she said she was doing was good. Although it's odd to come online and say something like that and not turn it in. Instead, she's going to rent her own server, make friends with her friends' children, and then privately invite them to servers that she pays $13.99 a month for. That's where I draw the motherfucking line, bitch.
And you can switch your game over. It's like we were playing DayZ, and we got the games Conan Exiles, and they were wanting to play that, and so I switched the game over. I took off the DayZ and I put up Conan Exiles. We played that for a month, and they was wanting to go back to DayZ, and I was able to reinstall our DayZ game right where we left off, so it didn't even wipe that data. And I was like, heck yeah. And I've told friends about it, and they've kind of hired me, to help them with their children's game servers. And I charge them, what I do is I've rented them for a year, and then ever how much, they can afford to pay at a time. If, I charge them the actual price of the game server. And if they want to donate me any extra money for doing the settings and everything and controlling it, and I teach the parents I teach them how to download the gaming apps on their phones, and they can log in on their phone at any time and listen to what their kids are talking about in game. And I do it for donations. I don't charge. I do it, I charge them for the cost of the server, of course, because I can't afford that.
Right.
But for all the other services and stuff, I just, they give me donations. And it's something, if you're a parent or a grandparent or an aunt or uncle out there and your child is into online gaming, I highly, highly, highly recommend, for $13 a month, you and a couple of other parents of your child's friends can get together and pitch in on that. And it's even cheaper than $13 a month. And that's for a 10-person server. 10 gamers can get on there, usually for that price. Sometimes it's less depending on the game. And you can protect your child. They can get on there and.
But it's not protection. Squall. Hold on. It's not protection for you to do that, especially if you're inviting children that their parents don't know are in your private servers. Now, let me tell you something. My son is an adult. He plays Fortnite. However, he's not on the server, and the shit's scary as fuck. I listen to my kid. He plays it in front of his children. He allows his children to play. However, his children are not allowed to play without him in the room. I tell my kid all the time, I fucking hate it. I hate that it's so easy. Although I hear my kid, he's not doing anything sexual or in any wrong manner. It's still scary to know the people that can. How easy it is to say, hey, hit me up on Discord. Something needs done about it. All over the world, something needs done. It needs banned. It's too much interaction with strangers for children that we teach children not to talk to fucking strangers while we teach them it's okay to talk to strangers. Which is it, United States? Should we teach them it's okay to or not okay to? It's not fucking safe. I'm going to finish this, then we're going to go into Renesmee.
And play with their friends, and it's stress-free. You don't have to worry about them learning bad language or being sought after for human trafficking. You know, and that's every person's worst fear when it comes to their child or to a loved one that's a minor.
Yes.
And, you know, certain person wants to call me immature for doing that, for gaming with the kids. Go ahead. I'll take that. Yeah, I'm immature because I protect
Hey, man,
the minors in my
I'm
family.
telling you what, they can call me immature too, overprotective, everything else, but I am with my grandkids.
Killed by her foster mothers. Morning, anger is growing within the community of Dunbar following the death of 9-year-old Renesmee Utsi. She is the girl police say was killed by her foster mothers. And last night, the community gathered at a park for a second vigil. KDK's Ricky Sayer reports everyone there hopes something like this never happens again.
For a second time in 2 days, the Dunbar community came together to share the grief and
You know what, A1? I was thinking about that. We have all this technology in our phones. To log onto your phone, you can use your fingerprint. Why can't the government make the kids, just an idea I have, make the adults of the children register their gaming system with the government where only the parent's fingerprint can allow the children to play the games? Just a thought I had. Somebody patent it. No. Hey, Sinister. I have decided I'm only going after Boober for his foul mouth. Y'all got a lot of shit going on. I don't know shit about it. And until anybody can come show me screenshots or something like that, my name is Bennett and I ain't in it. I love you. You're welcome here. I'll still come to your channel, but I'm staying out of the fucking drama. Except for his fucking mouth to women, which I addressed again with him in his chat this morning. I still love you, girl. I just don't know what's going on and decided it's not a good look for me. All right. Now we're going to talk about Renesmee. Now, what I've been doing with Renesmee is just sharing clips, and until I got a really good feel on it, we're going to watch 20 minutes of clips till I'm ready to give my thoughts and more input. I want to hear where you guys are on this case in my chat. The way he talks about women is gross. That's all I'll say. All right. And every day at noon, I think I'm going to try to come live with an In Other News segment. I think that we need to stray away a little bit from Summer and let the TBI and Ellie do their job. However, I still cover Summer, and I'm going to be back again tonight. I figure I did a breakfast. Let's do a lunch. We'll do a dinner one tonight, too. All right.
Morning, anger is growing within the community of Dunbar following the death of 9-year-old Renesmee Utsi. She is the girl police say was killed by her foster mothers. And last night, the community gathered at a park for a second vigil. KDK's Ricky Sayer reports everyone there hopes something like this never happens again.
For a second time in 2 days, the Dunbar community came together to share the grief and anger they feel following the death of Renesmee Utsi. It is a community that is struggling to come to terms with this loss. Bubbles are usually a plaything, but Saturday night, they took on a different meaning.
A little girl who loved the colors pink and purple, but also loved unicorns, mermaids, and baby dolls.
Renesmee Utsi loved it all.
I first met Renesmee at my store over here. I can tell you that she absolutely loves strawberry ice cream and an ice cream cone.
The Bubbles organizers say show the presence of that little girl who could no longer blow her own on this earth.
Renesmee mattered. Her life mattered. Every one of her 9 years mattered.
Hundreds came to the park, lighting candles, joined in prayer.
Let's all bow our heads.
This candle symbolizes more than a flame.
The organizers say it symbolizes her spirit, their love, and shared resolve to push back against the darkness.
Now it's time to get angry.
That anger, clearly present.
You don't want this to be your child, or your niece, or your nephew.
Justice for Renesmee!
Yeah.
Say her name!
Yeah.
No child should have to suffer that.
Organizers shared the need for stronger laws and for their community to say something when they see something.
We must fight for the voiceless. Resume's light was stolen, but her memory will not fade.
Hope that this will be the last time they ever need to gather like this.
And may her light forever shine in our hearts.
The DA thanked the community for their patience as it's taken them a few days to make the arrests that they have to in this case. He also said that it is a long process to get justice. Reporting in Dunbar, Fayette County, Ricky Sayer, KDK TV News.
And nearly starving a 6-year-old boy at their home in Dunbar, Fayette County. District Attorney Mike Aubele calls it the most disturbing abuse case he's ever seen. Investigators allege the women put the 11-year-old through severe physical abuse, choking her until she passed out, beating her with a belt, and forcing her to do work around the house. They say when she complained of a sore tooth, the women pulled it out with rusty pliers. Police say the little boy was found with multiple cuts and bruises, and he had been so badly malnourished that eating could cause his death. Doctors referred to the abuse as torture. The additional charges are raising concerns in the community about why the abuse wasn't caught sooner and whether it could have been prevented. KDKA's Jennifer Barrasso has been looking into it and joins us live from UPMC Children's Hospital, where one of those children is recovering.
Josh, a lot of questions tonight. I did leave a message for Gina Diaria. She's the Fayette County CYS director. I have not heard back yet. Now, I did talk to DA Mike Aubele. He tells me that investigators will be digging into how this happened and trying to prevent this from ever happening again. A community in mourning and outraged over who failed 9-year-old Renesmee Utsi. Her caregivers, Courtney Utsi and Sarah Shipley, were charged last week with criminal homicide, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with evidence in her death. Her body was found in a garbage bag in the Yawk River. Fayette County DA Mike Aubele believes a lot of people are to blame, from her biological parents to family friends and to her caregivers. He believes CYS was the least culpable. Do you know how Renesmee was placed into this home?
The information that I have, and there's been a long history of family issues involving drugs, sexual offenders, deplorable conditions. It's pretty clear, at least from what I've seen, that there is just been years and years of failures with family with this child.
Aubele says Renesmee was placed in the care of blood relatives here in this Dunbar home at least a year ago. Aubele says 4 other kids lived here. He says at least some were her siblings and they were homeschooled. Did the biological parents of Renesmee want to try to get her back into their custody, as far as you know?
To my understanding, no. I mean, even after permanent legal custody is established, we have a court system. You can file custody actions. You're entitled to get a mediation after 45 days. You got to pay a fee and you got to do some paperwork. I have no evidence that ever happened.
Do you know if any family members were checking in regularly on Renesmee and her siblings?
We believe there was contact with family members. So that's something that we're looking into.
Abel said at some point, supervision ended with CYS. He says nobody in the family really raised much of an objection to it.
My understanding is that this case was closed over a year ago, meaning that basically the court system had found this home to be appropriate and that there weren't checks being performed.
It's unclear who decided that Courtney Utsi and Sarah Shipley were the best home for Renesmee. Now, Renesmee's mother tells me that she last saw her daughter in September 2021, and she says that Shipley prevented her from seeing her. KDK has not confirmed that information. She also tells me the little boy in Children's Hospital is indeed her son. Now, DA Mike Abel telling me that his office and law enforcement will have a meeting with CYS that is required by law to go over the facts of the case. CYS, he says, will pull their records, the visits, and they will interview caseworkers.
This is another county. It's not my county. It's a neighboring county. It's not far. Let me fucking tell you, the Pennsylvania CYS is horrible. One of the concerns I have in Summers' case actually connects to something here with CYF, with possibly the We Can Bring You Hope people. I covered it, and I'm hoping to one day cover it again. It has to do with funds being taken in during Summers' case for a 501c3 in Greenville. I forget the name of it right now, which is why I'm not going to cover it. Most CPS, DCS, CYS agencies do not. No, they don't. Not at all. I agree, and they need to be better vetted and better schooled before they come into our homes and decides who takes our children. Let me show you. I don't know if I could find it. I want to show you a case. Of people I know where CYF failed. It was years ago. It ain't on here. It's probably in archives. I'll probably have to dig for it. But years ago, there was a case here where I was friends with the parent. I'm not friends with the mother. I was friends with a family member. And the mother had lost custody of her children. She knew she was a fuck up. She tried. She didn't have money. She didn't have much support to pull in and get her children back. And she was still, I believe, an addict at the time of her son. I believe it was death. It might have been a daughter. But they had given this baby to a man who, and his new wife, who wasn't paying attention to the baby. And for hours, the baby was in the window playing. Neighbors seen it. Nobody did anything about it. The baby falls out of a fucking window and passes away. CYF never vetted this man. They never did anything for this child. I'd have to go really back and look up the details of the case. But I was very young when that happened. CYF has not gotten any fucking better here in Pittsburgh. We have another case. A mother in Garfield, right here in the city, has twins. The babies disappeared. We're 40 years later and they still can't find the damn babies. Nobody knows what happened to them and no arrest has been made. There's rumors the mother sold the children. We have a huge problem in our city. I don't know what it's like in any other city, but in Pittsburgh, CYF is awful. I have my own experience with them. I started to tell you about it with my ex-husband, well, my first husband, my widowed husband, yesterday. There's nothing they can't tell me on top of 501c3s that help them, government funding and funding of their own, that there ain't enough money to make sure these children are taken care of. Maybe if our politicians would quit fucking lining their damn pockets out of greed, we would have better funds for our children when they need be. And motherfuck the parents that can't get their shit together and take their own children and raise and care for them. All right, we got 10 minutes. Let's listen to some more of Yutzi.
And nearly starving a 6-year-old.
This case is awful. New charges filed. This was still 2 months ago. We're not caught up.
New charges tonight against 2 Fayette County women already accused in the horrific death of 9-year-old Renesmee Yutzi. Prosecutors say the abuse didn't stop there. New charges accuse the same women of abusing Renesmee's 6-year-old brother and 11-year-old sister. Thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Josh Taylor. Ken has the night off.
And I'm Christine Sorensen. Shelley Bort sat down with the district attorney about what those children suffered inside the same home.
District Attorney Mike Abel says this is the worst child abuse case he has ever seen. He says the same 2 women Renesmee Yutzi called mom and dad are now charged with abusing her little brother, who also lived inside that Dunbar Township home.
But we filed additional charges against both Courtney Yutzi and Sarah Shipley, which includes several counts of aggravated assault, endangering the welfare of children.
Court records show just hours after Renesmee Yutzi was reported missing, the other children were pulled from the Dunbar Township home by emergency order. Those children were taken to UPMC Children's Hospital, where doctors made a chilling discovery. A 6-year-old boy was emaciated, malnourished, and showed signs of severe abuse.
What we've seen appears to be intentional, completely intentional. Very systemic and over a course of a very long amount of time.
But one question remains. Why wasn't intervention swifter before one child died and another hospitalized? To that, Abel says the abuse wasn't just hidden, it was actively concealed. He says Courtney Yutzi and Sarah Shipley went out of their way to keep all of the children isolated, cutting them off from professionals who might have noticed the warning signs, including doctors and dentists. According to the criminal complaint, Renesmee's 11-year-old sister claims instead of taking her to the dentist when she complained about a sore tooth, Yutzi and Shipley pulled the tooth out with a pair of rusty pliers.
They were being homeschooled. They weren't being brought for wellness checks. Unfortunately, there were probably multiple family members, friends, acquaintances that had access to these children during that time, and we received no reports.
As the scope of this case widens, Abel says his work is far from over. He insists his office will pursue every lead, examine every piece of evidence, and make sure those responsible will face the harshest consequences.
No stone will be left unturned. We will find everybody responsible in this case.
The 6-year-old remains in the hospital in stable condition. The other 2 siblings have been placed in foster care, not with relatives. Shelley Bortz, KDKA TV News.
We are learning more tonight about the charges filed after the tragic end to the search for this little girl. Early this morning, we told you police found the body of 9-year-old Renesmee Yutzi in the Yaak River.
She was reported missing from her home in Dunbar, more than a dozen miles from where she was eventually found. Her foster mother, Courtney Yutzi, is now charged with her murder.
And police say that girl was killed hours before she was reported missing. And the details on this are truly heartbreaking. Channel 11's Kara Sapaida is live in Fayette County tonight with what that foster mom told police. Kara.
This is just devastating to this community here tonight, Lisa. So many people came out to search for this young girl. This was not the outcome they had prayed for. Today, I interviewed her biological mother. She said she searched for 13 hours yesterday, only to wake up this morning and find out her daughter had never actually been missing. Tonight, a community is heartbroken. The search for 9-year-old Renesmee Yotsi has ended in devastation. Police say her foster parents reported her missing from her Fayette County home, knowing all along where she was.
The amount of resources that were dedicated to this, immeasurable. It's not the result that we wanted this morning.
Renesmee's body was found along the bank of the Youghiogheny River. The district attorney says the signs of abuse were unmistakable.
What we saw this morning was a girl that appears to be malnourished, various bruises, cigarette burns on her body. It's very apparent that this girl suffered, and that her mother was responsible.
This is one of the last public photos of Renesmee with her foster mothers, Courtney Yotsi and Sarah Shipley. Yotsi is now charged with homicide. The couple was living with Renesmee and her 3 biological siblings, along with their own child. Police say those children witnessed the horror. According to the criminal complaint, one child told police, "I'm never going to see my baby sister again because she's in heaven," said her mom killed her sister and put her in a tote. One child woke to Renesmee screaming and crying and saw Shipley and Yotsi yelling, then kicked her in the stomach, and heard them say they would take her to a river, quote, far, far away. Yotsi told police she didn't call 911, afraid of being reported for a back burn on the girl and malnourishment. Said the girl began vomiting and choked, and that she tried CPR for 20 to 30 minutes to remove vomit.
She did not deserve the abuse, the malnourishment, or any of it. She didn't deserve to be thrown away like she was garbage.
Renesmee's biological mother, Christina Benedetto, told Channel 11 she had made mistakes as a mother and left her children with family members while trying to get back on her feet.
They were supposed to be somebody I could trust with my kids. Well, I got my life situated. I wasn't the best mother, but I was still there. And they wouldn't let me have any contact with any of the kids.
Christina searched for Renesmee for 13 hours yesterday, only to learn this morning her daughter was never missing.
My baby didn't deserve that. She was innocent. She still had her whole life ahead of her.
As for Shipley, the second foster mother in this case, she has not been charged. However, the criminal complaint does detail and describe her involvement in the abuse and in hiding the body. The district attorney telling me more charges are coming in this case. Live in Fayette County tonight, I'm Kara Sapaida, Channel 11 News.
All right, guys, I'm going to end 2 minutes early. I tried to make it last an hour. Tomorrow I'll come back with some more in other news. Something. Today was 764. Yesterday was trafficking on the PA Turnpike. I want to look into more of the trucker stuff, so I might do that, but I might come back with something else. We'll see what clicks my interest by tomorrow at noon. But I'm also going to spend the other 30 minutes going over more of Renesmee. I'm going to go on to Facebook tonight and see what it is I can find on there that I think should be shared with you guys. I want this case in the news, national news. I want Sarah Shipley and whatever the fuck the other bitch's name is. I want them both jailed for life. And I think the whole world should know what they did to these children. And I'm sorry for that grieving mom. However, you were a shitty ass fucking mom. Fuck you for being a shitty mom to that little girl. Fuck you all the way to hell. Yes, everyone stay safe. Each one of you are cared about. Mwah. Peace and love. Thank you for being here. Oh, hit that like button. Talk to you later. See you all tonight with something about summer. Bye.